Today's segment will be my first ever prediction map that I've done on my channel. This will be of the 2024 presidential election, who now, today, the candidates presumably will be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Again, this is my first ever map prediction, especially going into a election year. In 2016, I graduated high school early. I was 17, so I was not able to vote. In 2020, I was not on YouTube. I started YouTube January, I want to say 2021 per se. And again, really just haven't been consistent, but I'm working on it. With that being said, this whole video is going to be full of, a lot of information. I would love to hear you guys' feedback as I go through a few states. I have the map pulled up as well. We all know that election years are, chaotic to say the least. I remember in 2016, again, I was 17 years old. I graduated high school early, skipped a grade, matter of fact, but I was in my dorm room watching CNN just totally melt down as Donald Trump was winning, these states over and over again. But with that being said, let me pull up this map so we can start the analysis. The map on the screen, I have the states that I have blank will be the ones that I will be, kind of filling in, because we know how states, we know how they pretty much go, year after year and things like that. So this is my prediction. I've not seen any other channel do it. So this is going to be real authentic, just like all my videos, and pretty much a one take. Now, again, before I even start this prediction on this screen, you can see that I have the Democrats at 260 and the Republicans at 202. First, and we all know that you need 270 to win. Well, it says it right here on the screen, 270 to win. 270. Now, I will be starting with the University of Georgia, not the University of Georgia, the state of Georgia. I will be clicking them to go blue. They will lean D. In the state of Georgia, I am predicting that you will have massive voter turnout. I follow a lot of these blogs in Georgia, Spiritual World, and there's a lot of other blogs that post a lot of news, etc., in the state of Georgia. And the whole media complex is waiting on something to happen in the state of Georgia. We know Atlanta specifically, where, people are packed like sardines in Atlanta. That's right on top of each other. You have Cop City happening. A lot of protests are going on. Will the chaotic event be a police involved shooting in Atlanta? Because that's kind of what happened in 2020 with George Floyd. Will that be what causes massive turnout? I don't know. I guarantee you're going to have a lot of celebrities that, chime in. There's going to be a lot of money and advertising flooded through the state of Georgia. I'm sure some of you guys remember how horrible it was in 2020. I signed up for YouTube Premium because I just got sick of seeing these ads, because I'm close to Atlanta. I kept seeing all these ads of Warnock and, Herschel and this and that, without, but really YouTube Premium is worth it because you get the music aspect. But with that being said, you're just going to be flooded with a lot of advertisements. If you are a resident of Georgia, you have a lot of voters in Georgia who they're not going to vote because the machines and things like that, which you can't talk about on YouTube. But I just say go vote. But again, the state of Georgia, I have leaning D. And again, pending what initiatives are on the ballot, that's going to be interesting to see in terms of for the state of Georgia. World Economic Forum, Brian Kemp is pretty much sold the state like Arnold Schwarzenegger did for California, and how Peter Doocy did for Arizona. Moving on to North Carolina, I have North Carolina leaning R. It's going to be by a slim margin. I am predicting that you're going to have Trump on the ballot, so I know in North Carolina you have Mark Robinson, who was running for governor. I see Trump, carrying Mark Robinson over the finish line, and Mark Robinson will be the next governor. So he's going to flip, North Carolina, because North Carolina now has a Democrat governor, Roy Cooper. I predict that Trump will carry Mark Robinson to the finish line on the ballot. It's going to be by slim margin, maybe 500 votes, 1,000 votes, 5,000 votes, 10,000 votes, a very slim margin of victory for Mark Robinson. Okay, so North Carolina, or let's go up to Ohio. I'm going to have Ohio leaning R. When you think about a state like Ohio, the East Palestine, Ohio situation, this is going to be a state that the former president is going to campaign. Well, he has to campaign hard on. This is a state known for, oil, agricultural things. Ohio, when you think about Ohio, I know there was a recent ballot initiative regarding marijuana that passed. It's crazy how marijuana has now flipped on its head. It used to be a, sort of, Democrat thing. Joe Biden has not touched it. I thought he was at least, maybe that's something he will do in 2024 in terms of possibly moving the scheduling of it. But a lot of red states are now, legalizing it. I mean, we've been had Oklahoma, then you have Missouri, then now you have Ohio, where you now have the ability to smoke recreational marijuana. But Ohio, as a whole, again, I think it will lean R. JD Vance won a few years back, etc. I think it will go again, lean R. That's all I'm gonna say about Ohio. Now, next we have Wisconsin. I'm going to pick, this is going to be like the bold prediction. I'm going to have Wisconsin finally flipping to go red. They're currently a blue state now, but I definitely can see them going red. The main thing, and this goes for the former president as a whole, to win, he's going to have to pull people out that do not vote normally. I think he's going to do so, but then again, you can still fall short because you're going to have, like in 2020, there were football arenas opening up for people to go vote. There was this it was just like every day it was something about, going out to vote to stop somebody. Okay. So again, Wisconsin, that's going to be my shocker prediction. I think Wisconsin goes red. And even while I'm up north, even a state like New York, I mean, Lee Zeldin almost won. After he was stabbed, or almost stabbed and attacked multiple times, he almost won. But again, New York, maybe there's something to keep your eye on in the future. I don't know if it's the immigration, the illegal immigration that is kind of changing people's minds, or is it the aspect of crime? But people are voting more in New York. They're voting more to the right. Now, next I will be going to Nevada. I'm going to have Nevada lean R. I know that there was a teenager recently just beat, and he was recently just beat in, I want to say, in Nevada. The governor has not spoke about it, and a lot of people aren't really feeling that. But at the same time, that is, that's a state matter. The governor really, that's this new age. The governor got to speak about what's happening in my city and all this kind of stuff. And the governor really is over the whole state. So, with that being said, the kid, prayers to his family, because he was actually beat to, he didn't make it. But you had there were 15 kids, and they were all, diverse and things like that. But just because somebody white is attacked does not make it racial at all. Especially when there's no proof. Like if there's a manifesto saying that this is the case, or they posted something before saying that, just because somebody white is being attacked does not make it just racial off the bat. But again, there were white kids beating. There were 15 of them. So with that being said, again, going back to the state of Nevada, they've been trending towards the right for years and things like that. I've been paying attention. It's going to be interesting to see again what initiatives are on the ballot for the state of Nevada that can pull people out to vote and get people energized, and especially in a state like in Nevada, the former governor Sisolak, that's the part of the reason why he lost, because when Trump would hold his rallies, Sisolak was too busy trying to shut down a Trump rally, and he wasn't worried about his whole state. He wasn't doing his job. So Nevada definitely goes red. Last state on the list, Arizona, which my subscribers, we're not real fond of Arizona at all. I have Arizona leaning D. Yeah, I'm gonna have Arizona leaning D. Now I'm not arguing with people who would say it would lean R as well, but Arizona pretty much is it's like a purplish state. I think that for the state of Arizona, I just hope that they count the votes by midnight, and it doesn't take 3 weeks or a month. And I do not blame Kari Lake for not conceding, because if I'm running in a race and the votes are not counted, it takes a whole month, and you have all these complaints and glitches and things like that happening. I'm not going to concede either. There's no point of conceding. But Arizona, again, hopefully Maricopa County, all these counties got their stuff in order, but I don't think that will be the case. They're going to Arizona's going to have a lot of errors. All of a sudden, people want to go home and sleep. But my whole life, I thought that people count the votes by midnight. But after 2016, that has not been the case. People get tired and go home and count the votes in the morning. That's just odd to me. And I'm not the only one. People, a lot of people in the federal government act like, and especially the media, they act like people forget things. They do not forget. So again, Arizona lean D, and a state like Iowa is on this map. It's like light R. I'm just going to make it all the way R. I'm just going back and checking, make sure I didn't miss anything. I made Texas solid red before I started this video. Matter of fact, Alaska, we know that's going red for certain. So yes, I think that's pretty much it. Now I have the Democrats at 287 and the Republicans at 251. So this will mean that, you know, you would eventually have 4 more years of Joe Biden. Now, what would that look like? I mean, we've came this far in terms of hypotheticals. 4 more years of Joe Biden, what would that look like? It would look like you would have, you know, the continuation of wars. You would have more inflation. You would have, you know, essentially in a way, World War III has already started. We're just waiting on a nuke at this point, I guess, for somebody to strike a nuke or something like that. And again, going back to what I was saying in the beginning of this video about the news and the media prepping for something, is it a you know, attack or something like that? Because, you know, Joe Biden, again, our federal government is pretty much owned by China. They're too busy buddy with China. It's probably not going to be China that attacks, but will it be Russia? Will it be, you know, or maybe it could be China, like through a back channel or something like that. So it's just going to be interesting to see what exactly, you know, unfolds. But again, 4 more years of Joe Biden. I have a hot take. I think the country, but then again, I'm Gen Z, so I think the country can survive another 4 years of Joe Biden. And going back to the former president losing, because he would lose. I mean, you need 270 win. Democrats have 280. Yeah, he was right there on the screen. So what happens to the former president? The Dems have 287. So what happens now to the former president after he, you know, loses this election? It's next runner-up. So who is the next runner-up? Going back to what I was saying about North Carolina, I would predict, let's say Mark Robinson gets in there, he starts passing bills, he starts, you know, doing what DeSantis did when he earlier when he got into office. Mark Robinson, I predict Mark Robinson. I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to be in the talks, but Sarah Huckabee is going to be this, you know, Nikki Haley type. She is establishment. There's no way Sarah Huckabee can win over MAGA. Her father was already connected in the government. It's not going to work for Sarah Huckabee. Thirdly, somebody like Josh Hawley. You know, if you're a young guy, especially like me, and you maybe want to run one day or something like that, keep an eye on Josh Hawley, because he doesn't really say much. He's writing legislation. He's, you know, he's voting in line. Josh Hawley is a senator, I want to say from Missouri. He is a guy that, you know, but he also was a attorney general of Missouri. So you've already been a attorney general, you've been a senator, you've got your eyes on that White House seat. And you notice he didn't run this year, right? So that's exactly what I would do if I was in there. I would not run. Why would you run against Donald Trump? And number 4, so again, just to recap what I just was saying, Mark Robinson, Huckabee Sanders, Josh Hawley, and then of course I'll throw in Vivek Ramaswamy. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how he develops into the future, because I just feel like a lot of people do not trust him. A lot of people in politics have a good mouthpiece, but do you really stand on it? Do you really believe in these principles? Because when you get in there, you may flip-flop completely on, you know, maybe immigration or something like that, that will not fare over well with MAGA at all. So again, and then with a guy like Vivek, he's in my group, which means he's like 5'10-ish. And for the Democrats, it would be, you know, Gavin Newsom. So you have 6'3" tall white guy Gavin Newsom versus 5'10" Vivek Ramaswamy. And optically, it just does not look good. America loves a tall white guy, and that's not racist or being, you know, victim. America loves a tall white guy. I mean, and they love, you know, tall white girls like Taylor Swift. It also goes back to the whole demographics of the country. When you have 68% of people that are white, you know, they're gonna, you know, maybe lean towards a Taylor Swift or lean towards a, you know, Gavin Newsom, who again is tall, you know, tall white guy. So if the demographics were, let's say, 68% Mexican, you would have a Mexican Taylor Swift, and you would have a Mexican Joel Osteen or a Mexican Gavin Newsom or something like that. You get what I'm saying? It's just demographics. This is how the country works. Especially, so that's not, you know, it's not really saying anything that nobody should be shocked at. Especially, I mean, like, it even goes for, like, if you're a guy when it comes to, like, females. I'm black, so, you know, I attract 98% black females. If you're a white guy with your hair swooped to the side and things like that, you probably attract white women. So, you know, that's just how America works. And that's not, again, not playing victim or being racist, but that's why a guy like Vivek, I don't think could ever go to the White House. And these are the people that will never go to the White House. Number one being Ron DeSantis, two, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and again, three, I'm going to throw Vivek in there because again, he just don't have people don't. There's just a trust factor lacking. And a guy like Vivek, you're still running. Why are you running? Like, are you just accepting money from your donors, doing a press run? If I was, advising Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm butchering his name because of the southern accent. But if I was advising Vivek, I would tell him, hey, drop out. Maybe maybe you like develop a YouTube channel where you start, that's how you stay relevant. You go interview with this person, that person, etc. But just drop out because it does not look good that you're just staying in there knowing you're not going to win, because then you reach towards what some people call grift territory, which means you're just in for the money, but you're not going to win. But again, going back to Vivek, I just don't think that he's going to be the future. He's going to. He's just not, again, Vivek has a good mouthpiece, but probably not going to be that guy going forward. Look out for the guys I just mentioned. Again, Mark Robinson, Huckabee Sanders, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, who again will probably just be like a Nikki Haley. And three, you're going to have Josh Hawley. And four, again, I just throw in Vivek just in case. But with that being said, because the reason Ron DeSantis can never go to the White House is because there's no way he can flip-flop on the things that he has said. He has exposed himself as a warmonger. So if he tries to double back on that, he's already flipped. So there's no point of people trusting him again. So you can't really do that to people like MAGA, who again are liberals and conservatives. You can't really do that. You can't really flip, and you can't do that at all. Now again, going back to Donald Trump losing, he can create a media company. He can, he'll still be around. When Trump loses, you're going to get this whole, like when Nick Saban of the Alabama Crimson Tide lose, it's going to be, Nick Saban should retire. Nick Saban dynasty dead. It's going to be the same, especially modern day Colorado. You have, Deion lost, Colorado lost, shut up. And the reality is both programs are always, they're headed up in the upward trajectory, but, a guy like Trump, when he loses, they're going to say MAGA's dead, it's over. America said they don't want MAGA, but all that talk has already been proved wrong in 2016. But yeah, you would see a lot of it's that's why I compared it to sports, because it's kind of the same way. You're gonna have people celebrating, you're gonna have people maybe like so that's just the way it is going to be. It's going to be an interesting year. Again, 2024, this is my prediction of the federal race. I have, again, Joe Biden 4 more years winning, and again, with him getting in office, it'll be essentially over for the president, because he cannot run again. For President Trump, he cannot run again. He can do the whole independent thing, but just sit down. I mean, at this point, there's no point of trying to that would not look good in terms of a legacy standpoint. But his legacy is already there. I mean, you want to talk about the legacy he has already cemented. So again, with that being said, especially when it comes to a lot of people in Gen Z who, again, when I was in college, a lot of people don't even have social media. They're not even on here. Like me, I wasn't on social media. So I want to, and also mention the comments that I recently had on the video about the Dave Chappelle video. Guys, I'm sorry, I do not know who Bill Burr and the other comedian Norm McNeil, I think is what the name was. I'm Gen Z. I don't have no clue who those guys are. Just like Bill Maher, I don't know who he is. I don't know. So that's why certain things I don't discuss, because I don't know. Again, Gen Z, I do not, a lot of these people on social media, again, I'm not familiar with. I'm familiar with some, but definitely not all. But again, going back to topic of this video, Joe Biden, the Democrats 287, Republicans 251, and this is what Ronna McDaniel, I think her name is Ronna McDaniel actually, but they call her Ronna Romney, the head of the RNC. This is what she wants to see Republicans lose, because she's going to continue to talk about abortion and things like that when she needs to be talking about a excitement, or giving creating a party that people actually want to vote for. The House GOP has done nothing for the American people so far. So there really is no point to really vote Republican, but people like Trump. That's the only thing. You see what I'm saying? People like Trump. That's why he's the leader of the party. There's no reason to vote for, depending on who your, maybe state senator, House senator is. You vote for him, because your district is safe and things like that. Yeah, that, what, that is a reason, because that's why, I vote for mine. The district looking good. He's a Nazi. He votes for Ukraine, so I vote against him. But shoot, he wins. He wins again. So because people know, normies, they're not in tune like I am, so they know, okay, the district is safe. We don't have any potholes here. Let's keep everybody in office. Mayor, sheriff, congressman, things like that, etc. So yeah, with that being said, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts in comments below. Do you think that Republicans can win? Do you think my map is wrong? Again, this is what Ronald Romney wants to see. She wants to see the GOP die. And again, when it comes to something like abortion, if people are pro-life, they're pro-life. They're pro-choice, they're pro-choice. The bills have already been passed. Ballot initiatives have already been voted on. Roe v. Wade has already been overturned. Now you're looking at this whole, federal thing to see if the former president's talking about getting in there, passing something federally. But with that being said, Joe Biden, I'm not sure, has he even... He's pretty much a sitting duck now due to the House GOP in large part. But the thing about the House GOP is they're voting with Joe Biden on spending bills. They're voting with Joe Biden when it comes to sending money to Israel. So there's a real disconnect with the House GOP and the American people as a whole. So yeah, with that being said, let me know y'all thoughts in the comments on my predictions. And again, do you think that I'm wrong here? Do you think that a state like Georgia will go red? What chaos do you think will happen in 2024? Again, going back to the state of Georgia, you got this whole cop city thing. You may have a police involved shooting. You may have a protest here, a protest there. It's going to be something that the media gets behind. Hopefully they don't sacrifice somebody and send them to jail, wink. But with that being said, it's just, this is just where we are. As a country, and again, as a former Californian, I'm very familiar with Gavin Newsom. I lived in Antioch, which is in the Valley. I lived in Antioch, California. Around that time, Gavin Newsom was the governor of San Francisco, and it was bad back then. You had, there are a lot of good homeless people out there, but you also have some that are just flat out drug addicts and are in the way. Also, a lot of homeless people that are in fact talented. They can draw, and do a lot of other things, but maybe this came on hard times or something like that. So I'm very familiar with Gavin Newsom. Actually, I was in California playing football. One of my trainers is another YouTuber by the name of Anthony Trucks. He went to Oregon and played for the Minnesota Vikings. So it's part of the reason why, again, the videos slowed down, because I've been just not feeling the vibe on YouTube and just been watching football, to be completely honest. With that being said, again, Dems 287, Republicans 251. Let me know what y'all think about my prediction map. Again, Arizona, I keep wanting to end this video, but there's so much that I can say. A state like Arizona, do we really have any hope that anything will be better in the state of Arizona? Do we have any hope that things are better in terms of vote tallies? In Georgia, things got better due to the last state election. The votes came in, they were easy to check and update, so that made it a little bit better for a state like Georgia. But again, Arizona, Ohio, which is they're pretty good in terms of getting in the votes on time. But we just have to wait and see. Again, this is pending whatever all these states ballot initiatives, pending all the chaos that may happen in 2023, which I can just guarantee it's going to be a police involved shooting. And again, when Atlanta was so bad, guys, in 2020, a lot of officers stepped down when the George Floyd situation happened. And when you called the Atlanta Police Department, you had to, if your call was not serious enough, they would send out, the social worker. If they only had enough officers to send towards violent events. So that's how bad it was in a place like Georgia in 2020. That's why I, spoke about cop seat and all this kind of stuff, because I'm already knowing countrywide, would there be another riot or something like that? These riots that, again, the alphabet agencies must love, because they don't do anything about it. They're too busy worried about the former president and lying, saying Hunter Biden's laptop isn't real. Over 50 of them signed a letter saying that was the case. Hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the video. It's CJ. I'll see y'all in the next one.